First round of the NBA draft is Wednesday, barring a trade. The Cavs will make their first pick at number 20 in the first round. Here are some of the players that mock drafts have tied to the Cavs. We're going to start out with Carlton Carrington. He is a point guard, shooting guard combo. Not quite 19 years old just yet. From Pittsburgh, you see the athleticism, the size, the defense, the scores of all of the intangibles or tangibles, if you will, on the right-hand side. Then NBA comparison, Sean Livingston, Spencer Dinwiddie. Sam, I think this is kind of what you were alluding to before the draft. If they go out and they draft a point guard pretty high in this draft, that might be an indication that they're looking to move on potentially from Darius Garland.
Yeah, that could be one sign. I think our mock draft, which I did a couple weeks ago, has them taking Carrington. So, yeah, that's, I think he's a nice player in the sense that that's somebody who's projected to go in the 18 to 30 range. This draft is so wide open and such a crapshoot. But he plays both guard spots. Obviously, probably a little bit of a project, as would anybody be that you get at 20. So I think that's one thing you're looking at. I think they're going to look at big guys too to develop. I'd be surprised if we see Tristan Thompson back or Damian Jones. I think those guys are gone. So you're going to need some help up front. One way to do that is to get guys to develop and maybe win, guys who are ready to help right away. If you can find them, maybe like guys who were seniors in college this past year. But you've got Craig Porter Jr. coming along. This is assuming you trade Darius Garland. And if you do trade Darius Garland, I'll tell you what, guys, they're going to get back a point guard in that deal. They're not going to just trade him away and not fill that position, because as nice as Craig Porter Jr. is, he's not ready to run the team yet. So I think that there's a few possibilities that could come out of this draft. They have to draft somebody, but after they draft somebody, they could trade that player as well.
So another guy that has been tied to the Cavs in some mock drafts this is an interesting one. Johnny Furphy, shooting guard, small forward. Again, he's 19 and a half, so under 20. NBA comp, Sam Decker, Gordon Hayward. Plays for Kansas. Is from Australia, of all places, Melbourne, Australia. When I've seen, for whatever reason, Sam, I saw the Kansas Jayhawks play, and I like that kid. That kid can make threes. He's kind of scrappy. He's an irritating defender, and
yeah,
I could see if he's there at 20, I'd be all in on them grabbing him. I think he's probably gonna go a little bit before them.
Yeah, he's projected probably to fall right outside the lottery, right after 14 or 15. But for the reasons you explained, Dave, he's a good outside shooter. He's scrappy, kind of got that Matthew Dellavedova Australian edge to his game, and really has an endless motor. So, somebody like that is kind of who they wouldn't mind taking is a wing player who can shoot and rebound and gets after it. So that's certainly the two players that we've listed and talked about so far are guys who might be fits.
So another guy that some mock drafts have him going is guard from USC, not named Bronny James, Isaiah Collier, under 20. You see again, if you look at the strength, the quickness, all that stuff is in that chart over to the right-hand side of it. NBA comp, Jeff Teague and Eric Bledsoe. So that's intriguing. I mean, if you're telling me you can get an Eric Bledsoe, Jeff Teague kind of guard at 20, yeah, all right, I'd be in for that.
Yeah, he's, we saw he has pretty good size for a point guard, 6'4", stronger guy, already ready, even though he's, 18 years old, 18 and 19, barely 19, already has NBA ball handling and passing skills. So that's a guy who can, set up people. Not a great outside shooter, not bad, but definitely the best player at USC this past season. Even though we hear the name Bronny James, this was their best guard. And Isaiah Collier had a great reputation going to USC. And upside sky's the limit. And maybe at 20, that's what you're looking for is a guy to develop and could come in and he can play both backcourt spots too. So if you're playing Craig Porter Jr., Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, any of those guys, Collier could fit in there as well. It kind of reminds me of a shorter version of Karis LeVert, not lengthy like that, but can do all the little intangibles and kind of an X factor type of guy.
Last guy we'll take a look at, potential pick at 20 overall, Jacobe Walter, shooting guard from Baylor, just under 20, NBA comp, Reggie Bullock. And again, you see all of the athleticism and all those scores add up to a 90 overall. That some of them put him at the 12th best player, 13th in the mock. There are a couple of them that have Walter mocked to the Cavs at number 20. Again, those are the kind of guys you're looking at number 20.
Yeah, and he's a nice player. I mean, guys who play at Baylor are real physical, and for a shooting guard, very physical. I find that Reggie Bullock comparison pretty accurate. But kind of, and Jay Crowder, that type of guy who's going to be a physical player at shooting guard on the wing, would be a nice fit. Look out. I'm going to tell you too, Dave. Watch out for Enrique Freeman from Akron. He did not work out with the Cavs, but he is really climbing the draft charts. Wonderful kid from Cleveland. He said that the Cavs have been watching him all season and following him closely. So Enrique would be thrilled, obviously, to go to 20. He's probably projected at 20, 25, but he loves the Cavs, and he did work out for him last year, or spent some time, and they've been following him closely. Obviously, local kid. He's 6'7", plays kind of that shooting forward type role, but it can be a physical players too. Been compared to Draymond Green, so who was drafted number 35. So who knows? I mean, maybe an Enrique Freeman is a guy who could rise up to number 20. And I know the Cavs do like him. So, but they're looking for those type of players. Anybody who can fill that kind of wing shooting role while being also physical, because they're going to need some help underneath the basket with some of these bench players moving on, veteran bench players moving on.
Yeah, it's a guy that's 6'7", runs the floor well, can jump. Needs to work on. If he is able to hit a 17, 18-foot jumper, he's probably a lottery pick. If he was a little more consistent with his outside shot, double-double. Kid that was a walk-on, went from walk-on to MAC Player of the Year. So work ethics there.